this looks to be seriously threatening to the regime that is there in Iran. And consequently, any kind of attack that on a sovereign nation that is likely to result in regime change, or quite possibly could result in regime change, is the sort of thing that ideally I want to see a declaration of war. Welcome to another episode of Clown World. I'm recording this just a few days after the American attack on Iran and the 3 sites where they were preparing weapons-grade uranium. And we used our B-2 bombers, and the mission was successful by all accounts, successful militarily. What about politics? What about the politics of the thing? What about the MAGA movement? What about? Now, as I've written elsewhere, I don't think presidents ought to order attacks like that without a declaration of war from Congress. That's one thing. The Constitution expressly gives Congress the authority to declare war, and then the president is the commander-in-chief, and he executes the prosecution of that war. That's in an ideal system. I don't have any problem with our attacks on, if the U.S. military is used to attack pirates or renegade Houthis in Yemen who are attacking shipping and sort of that. I think that sort of thing can be done without a declaration of war. But this looks to be seriously threatening to the regime that is there in Iran. And consequently, any kind of attack that on a sovereign nation that is likely to result in regime change, or quite possibly could result in regime change, is the sort of thing that ideally I want to see a declaration of war. Are there any ways that people come back with, on the other hand, we don't know, et cetera? There's one line of argument that people could use and encourage us to consider, and I'm willing to consider, but until we have resolution on it, I still think that we shouldn't do things like that without a declaration of war. What are some of the other things that we could consider? Well, there were 2 overt assassination attempts on Trump, and there was another assassination plot that was uncovered, and 3 Iranians are in jail accused of this assassination plot. And they were told that money was no object and they were to take Donald Trump out. That would be an act of war. When we look at the 2 assassination attempts and we look at the arrests made for this assassination plot, it is really curious to me how little we know about all 3 of those. Why isn't it front page news?
This just seems like a huge headline, and you're acting like everyone knows this. I didn't know that.
Why don't we know all about these 3 people who were engaged by the Iranians to kill Donald Trump? And if they were wanting to assassinate Donald Trump and he wants to retaliate without getting into a full tilt war, might that have something to do with this? And then why the 2 people that had no apparent connection to Iran, who tried to assassinate the then candidate Trump? Why do we know so little about them? Why the secrecy? It seems to me that the modern geopolitical world is a lot like a rough and tumble water polo game, where most of the action is under the surface where we can't see it, and there are multiple swimming trunks on the bottom of the pool.